welcome back to Ahead of the Curve, the Scoliosis podcast, where my aim is to empower individuals with scoliosis and movement professionals alike by providing free, up-to-date information on scoliosis management and treatment. My goal is to improve the quality of life for those with scoliosis and equip movement professionals with the knowledge and skills needed to effectively support them. Welcome back. I'm your host, Dr. Megan Teed. I'm a scoliosis specialist and a fellow scoliosis patient. Thank you for tuning in today. And before we jump into today's episode, I'd like to mention a word about the Scoliosis Strength Collective. This is a small group coaching program that I created where you've received guidance on how to take control of your curve so you no longer have to depend upon medical professionals to tell you what to do. Not only will you get support from a scoliosis specialist who has scoliosis, but you will also have a community and encouragement from other people who are in the same boat as you. Schedule a free discovery call today using the link in the show notes to learn more. Now, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about the lymphatic system and scoliosis and how they're connected. And I know that, at least from personal experience, that when I used to think about the lymphatic system, a few things would come to mind. So being in physical therapy school, we learned a little bit of about lymphedema, and that's where you have a major problem with your lymphatic system where you're not able to reduce the swelling that is occurring, the fluid that's building up in a limb. And usually that can occur from several different things. That can come from obesity. It tends to kind of go hand in hand with that. It can also come from having your lymph nodes removed from cancer surgery. So this happens pretty often with breast cancer. And then another thing that comes to mind is dry brushing. And it seems like that's all over the place right now, is doing some dry brushing, and people are like, yeah, it's good for you, but they're not really giving you a whole lot of information as to why or how to actually dry brush the right way. So I'm going to dive into all of the reasons why you should care about the lymphatic system, especially if you have scoliosis. So if you're a human on this planet, you should care about your lymphatic system. If you're a human that has scoliosis, you should care even more so about the lymphatic system. So this topic is stemming from a course that I just recently took with Dr. Perry Nicholson from Stop Chasing Pain. I took his course called the Lymphatic Mojo. And my inspiration for taking the course, I always want to be learning more for my patients, for myself, so that I have the most up-to-date information that I could possibly have, and the best treatments that I could possibly be implementing with my patients and my clients. However, in addition to that, the other reason that I was really interested in this course is for support from my husband. He has a sleep disorder that he's been struggling with for, as long as he can remember. And there's not a whole lot of information about how to treat it. And when I was reading about all of the ways that this lymphatic course would help people, a lot of those reasons seem to be things that, would help my husband as well. So, improving brain fog, improving sleep, mental clarity, energy levels. Those are just a few of the reasons that stood out to me for my husband. And in addition to that, the other reasons that it's helpful for people to learn this information, if you're somebody that struggles with pain, inflammation, if you have an autoimmune disorder, if you have a stubborn, last 10 pounds of weight that you just haven't been able to lose, and you're doing all the right things, you're eating all the right foods, you're exercising all the time, your lymphatic system could be a missing piece of the puzzle. So a little bit about Dr. Perry and his story. He is a chiropractor and practicing for many, many years. And when he was around 45 years old, he was working for Rock Tape, and he was coming back from teaching one of his courses there. And he was just kind of at a breaking point where he just was feeling very depressed. He was really inflamed. He was really, really sick. He had cellulitis twice, and he was exercising every day. He was into bodybuilding, and he just couldn't lose weight. He was just felt like really full of fluid and uncomfortable, unhappy. And he was feeling suicidal, and he kind of hit this breaking point where he was like, I need to figure out a way to get a hold of this and a handle on this. So within 1 month of only working on his lymphatic system and not changing anything else, he lost about 30 pounds of just this fluid water weight that was, clinging on and hanging out in his lymph system that he couldn't get out before. His depression lifted, his energy levels lifted, and he was feeling more like, a human again, and just feeling more optimistic about life again. So anybody can take this course, the course called Lymphatic Mojo or Lymph Mojo. And I highly recommend that you take it because he is incredibly inspiring. His story alone is really inspiring, but his passion for teaching others about how to control their body, how to manage their body, and live the best life possible is really contagious and encouraging. So that's just a little bit about him. All of the information pretty much that I'm sharing with you today is information that I learned through the course, and I'm going to be implementing it in my life, my husband's life, and my clients and patients that I work with now. So first of all, what is the lymphatic system? And the lymphatic system is something that we learned very briefly about in PT school. So like I said earlier, we learned about it as we were talking about lymphedema. And I'm sure we learned more than that, but that is really all that sticks out to me right now because I haven't used any of that information, honestly, since I was in graduate school. So if you visualize your body as an aquarium or a fish tank, and you think about the water that's in the aquarium, if it's inside of you, you ideally would want that water to be nice and clear and pure. However, if you just because of life, the toxins in the air, the food that we eat, the stress that we endure in our lives, all of these toxins kind of build up in our system, and our body aquarium, our fish tank, it gets really cloudy and muddy. And your lymphatic system is the filtration system for your fish tank. A lot of times our lymphatic systems have really deep clogs in them where we're kind of scratching the surface with things. We're changing our diet, we're exercising, and things aren't really changing a whole lot. And what that's like is just kind of like skimming with a skimmer and, kind of getting the stuff off the top, out of the fish tank, but it's not roto-rootering. It's not going in to the root of the problem and pulling out that clog. And doing deep lymphatic work, like I learned in the Lymph Mojo course, that is your roto-rooter. That is getting out that deep clog so that things can run optimally. And when you learn how to, do that deep lymphatic work, everything starts to change. Everything starts to improve. Your inflammation is able to go down in your body. Your body is able to remove the toxins from your system efficiently. You're able to think clearly. Your brain fog lifts. Your sleep improves. All the things. Why is caring for it? How is caring for it helpful for someone that has scoliosis? So one of the ways that it's helpful is it helps to improve your proprioception. What is your proprioception? I think last week my episode dropped about balance. And if you listen to that episode, we talk a little bit about proprioception. So that is your brain's way of knowing where you are in space. And when you have a cloudy lymphatic system, a cloudy fish tank, cloudy body aquarium, your brain is in a state of panic because it just has really blurry connections to everything. It has a hard time understanding where you are in space as far as like your arm, your foot, your leg, and add on to that the fact that you have scoliosis. You already have an impaired proprioception to begin with, just because of, the curve of your spine. So when you improve your lymphatic system, it improves your proprioception because your brain is able to feel safe. So as you're working at all of the different points where your lymphatic system can be clogged, that generally is at all of your major joints. And just by touching, just by rubbing all of those areas, it heightens your brain's awareness of that joint, of that body part. So it's building a stronger connection between your brain and that joint. So your proprioception is improving. Then your brain is able to calm down and come out of that state of fight or flight and go into a parasympathetic state. So when it's in that parasympathetic state, it's able to help you with number 2, it helps to reduce inflammation and swelling in the body. And as a result, it helps you to reduce weight. So when you're in the state of the parasympathetic, in the parasympathetic state, it allows your body to heal because it's not trying to fight for its life. It's not thinking you're being chased by something. And our culture, our world really encourages you to be in that hustle bustle, continue, push, drive. It's hard not to be in that sympathetic state 24/7. So when we're able to go into that parasympathetic state with the help of our optimal operating lymphatic system, it allows you to flush out that excess weight. And the other thing that happens when you're in that stressful state, when you're all full of toxins, your body's trying to protect you from those toxins, the toxic cells in your body. So what happens is fat comes in and it surrounds that toxic cell in order to protect you from, getting exposed to the toxins. So that's another reason that fat begins to build up in our body when we have all of these toxins that we're not able to get rid of. Number 3 reason why or how caring for your lymphatic system can help you if you have scoliosis, it helps to reduce your pain. So with the things that I just spoke about, if you have improved proprioception, your brain feels safer, you're in a calmer state. When you're able to relax a little bit more, when you're in your sympathetic state, everything is tightening up. You tend to clench your fists, you grip in your stomach, all of your muscles, and it increases your pain. So that is number 3 reason. Number 4 reason is it improves your range of motion of your joints. So you are able to move better when your lymphatic system is operating optimally for all of the above reasons that I already talked about. And then the 5th reason is it reduces stress. So I spoke about that already, but when our body isn't fighting off all of the toxins in the system, when we're able to rid ourselves of those toxins and be in the parasympathetic state, obviously it reduces your stress. So next I'm going to talk really briefly about how to care for your lymphatic system. If you want to take a deeper dive into this, we can have a conversation. You can investigate Dr. Perry at Stop Chasing Pain's Instagram. He puts a ton of stuff on there to just kind of give you some tidbits about how to begin caring for your lymphatic system. And also you can take the Lymph Mojo course. It's open to you. So cool. All right. So first, how to care for your lymphatic system. The step number 1 is to do a deep lymphatic reset. What this is called a 0. And this is where you go through on a very intricate level, and you have to go in the proper sequencing of things to release and assess your lymph system. So you can't just kind of go willy-nilly. If you know a couple of spots where you have, a high concentration of lymph, you can't just go there and palpate and release that region and then go to the next spot that you remember. It's not going to be effective. You have to go in the proper sequence, which is going from your low pressure regions to your high pressure regions. Your lowest pressure region is up at the collarbone. 3/4 of your body drains to your left clavicle region, and then the remaining quarter goes to your right collarbone. So the collarbone region is your lowest pressure region, and then your head and neck is kind of the second lowest. And then the further you get away from the heart, the higher the pressure goes. So that's kind of how you organize the release of that deep release. After you do that deep lymphatic reset, you have to see how you're feeling afterwards. There's people who have been fighting chronic pain, autoimmune disorders for years, and they may not even make it through the deep assessment, so that lymphatic assessment reset. If you make it through and you can experience some detox symptoms. So that's like a headache, that could be nausea, that could be dizziness, lightheadedness, an increase in your baseline symptoms. So anywhere that you're having pain, that pain is kind of that spot is your weakest link, and your inflammation will rush to that spot, and it could heighten your pain there. You need to wait until those symptoms calm down, and then you have to do the reset again until you're able to get through the reset without experiencing detox symptoms. The next step is beginning basic daily maintenance for your system by doing the big 6, which is going to be trademarked by Stop Chasing Pain. And that is something that's really quick and simple that you can work your way through before you start your day. It gives you a little bit more pep and energy, and it just kind of keeps things running smoothly. There's a lot more steps to it, but you know, just at least doing those 2 first steps, you're well on your way to having an improved overall life. The next thing that you can add in is doing dry brushing and gua sha. So I've been doing some dry brushing already, and I thought, yeah, like this is pretty good. But again, doing dry brushing or gua sha without releasing in the proper sequence, without doing that deep resets, it's like scooping out the water from the top, and it's not unclogging your drain or that clog deep within your filtration system. So you want to make sure that you are getting that clog out first before you do more of the superficial things. And then finally, drinking structured water is really, really important after you do the lymphatic work. So the reason why it's a great way to help support your lymphatic system, structured water is something like adding lemon to your water, adding a high quality sea salt to your water. And it's energized water, which has a higher pH level than your standard tap water. And it's rich in antioxidants and minerals. So this type of water helps to flush toxins from the body and balance the lymphatic fluid, and it prevents it from getting thick and sluggish and clogging up your drain again. Also, drinking structured water, it helps to increase your hydration levels. It reduces inflammation and pain, and it promotes a healthy circulation throughout the body, all of which is essential for supporting your optimal functioning lymphatic system. So lots of information here. This might be one that you want to listen to a couple of times. Like I said, there's lots of free resources on Stop Chasing Pain's Instagram page. I've already implemented a lot of this with my clients and with myself, and I've felt the benefits of doing this reset. The first time I did the reset, I felt pretty euphoric, honestly, and I had a bunch of energy. I felt awesome. And then the second time I did it, I felt nauseated because I think I did it a little bit too soon. So less is more, not more. More isn't better. Better is better. Take your time as you're going through this work. Make sure you're working with somebody who understands what they're doing, and ask questions. Don't ever be afraid to ask questions. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Ahead of the Curve. I hope you found the information and insights shared today helpful in your journey with scoliosis. Join us again next time for more discussions on living with scoliosis and ways to support those with this condition. Until then, take care and stay ahead of the curve.